Yo, what's up guys, Jack here, and today we're taking a look at a big update to The Division which came out a couple days ago whilst we all patiently wait for new Division content to drop. The Dark Zone is really all we have, and well, up until now the risk reward for going rogue in the Dark Zone has been pretty bad. Going rogue meant that you stood a good chance of dying and losing a massive chunk of XP, but survive, and you got very little in return. Couple that with the fact that all of the best loot is obtained by farming AI anyway, and you really had no reason to go rogue in the PvP area. In fact, since release I haven't really seen much PvP action at all. I got most of my PvP entertainment from the beta. Obviously that was a much smaller version of the Dark Zone though with more players, so it was bound to happen, but since launch it's all been a little bit friendly, which isn't really how I think the Dark Zone was intended to be. The latest Division update though aims to fix that with multiple changes to the Dark Zone rewards and XP. The main difference is that if you're killed in the Dark Zone, you now lose less Dark Zone funds and way less Dark Zone experience than you did before. I saw so many people posting to Twitter and YouTube about losing 50 or even 75,000 experience from just one death, reducing their Dark Zone rank considerably in the process. That will now be significantly less, and the amount you lose depends on what rank you are. At rank 35 Dark Zone I was losing around 1 to 2,000 XP rather than 4 to 5,000 before the patch. So what does this mean in terms of gameplay? Well, we're already seeing that many more people are going rogue, and it's far more like the Wild Wild West out there than a Sunday drive like it previously was. Players are now having a better time going rogue because they know they can do it, have some fun and not lose thousands and thousands of XP doing it. It's actually far more like how the game was first intended now in my opinion. The Dark Zone was meant to be a risky place, but it really wasn't when the game launched. You could see other players and not worry they were going to shoot you because you knew they just wouldn't, because there was no incentive. They'd be fools to even try it. Now though, it feels like you have to have your head on a swivel because anyone or any group can turn on you at any time. Be very careful. It's certainly made the game and the Dark Zone a lot more tense. The loot system has had a slight tweak as well. Rank 30 chests in the Dark Zone will now drop superior purple items instead of blue ones, and the key chests will have a chance to drop the lovely high-end gold items, giving more incentive to actually open them up. There's also more chance of high-level named NPCs dropping gold items if you're lucky. There was a plan in place to give more Phoenix credits to players killing higher level enemies, with it scaling depending on who you killed, so you'd get between 1 to 3 credits for killing a level 30 enemy, 2 to 4 from killing a 31 level enemy, and then 3 to 5 credits for a level 32 enemy. This unfortunately didn't make it into the patch though due to a last minute problem, but I expect and hope to see this added in soon. A few other small changes have been added to the Dark Zone as well. Players can now fast travel to Dark Zone checkpoints assuming you're not in the Dark Zone itself. Now this is very useful if you want to travel straight to the Dark Zone and not have to run all the way there. Also, grouping up with your teammates that might already be in the Dark Zone is a lot more easier now. Exercise is very dangerous. Players killed in the Dark Zone will now also drop ammo, medkits and grenades, but it's randomly generated by the game and not from their own inventory. I imagine this is to stop people from constantly having to resupply items from a safe zone, which with the loading times was getting a little bit annoying. As well as that, Massive have nipped a farming route in the bud as well. A named enemy in the PvE area called Bullet King could be farmed constantly for Phoenix credits, and well, lots of players have already done that and were just grinding and grinding on the Bullet King. No sexual reference intended. No, though, they're not going to be able to. Rest in peace, Bullet King. Challenge mode should also now give better drops than hard mode, which is how it should be. Definitely some good changes in this patch, it has to be said. A step in the right direction. Certainly in helping making the Dark Zone a bit more of an interesting place. I do have a small gripe though, as someone that doesn't have the time to constantly grind in the Dark Zone. When you're leveling up, you get put into a Dark Zone instance based on your level in both the PvE and Dark Zone. This is to ensure that you're on an equal playing field to other players and you don't get put into an instance with some guy who has played already for 6 days straight, has a serious vitamin D deficiency and has all the best weapons and is just going to cut through you like a knife through butter. However, once you are level 30 in both, you are put into a level 30-30 instance, and this is where the problem lies for me. if I want to jump on and just play some Dark Zone with friends, and we come across a group that's been playing constantly since release, we will get turned into mincemeat. They're going to have much better gear and much better weapons, and whilst I understand that's just the way it works in MMOs, it makes for an unpleasant gameplay experience for people who don't have the time to grind consistently for days and days on end. I'm a little confused why the Dark Zone can't scale beyond level 30 though. I think it should take into account all of your gear, your armor, your health, your DPS, all of that, and turn it into a stat that it could use to group and matchmake players together beyond level 30 so that the playing field is reasonably even. Now we know the game has or will have some sort of gear level, because when they talked about the new incursions they stated you would need to be gear level 150 to try them, but that gear level doesn't seem to be anywhere in the game right now unless I'm missing something. Maybe it's a secret stat and they do in fact use it somewhat to balance the Dark Zone already. If so, they're definitely keeping it quiet. And this brings up an interesting point, and it's certainly something that I'd love to see in the game if the Division introduces some classic PvP game modes, and they could have a system which is kind of similar to Destiny, where you have something like the Crucible, which isn't as heavily reliant on your gear and just kind of uses the perks of it, and then you have something like the Iron Banner, which is separate and takes all of your gear into account. I think that could be pretty cool, and that might be better overall in terms of balance in the long run. So there we go guys, I hope that's helped to update you on the recent change to the Division, and if you're in the Dark Zone maybe that's helped or explained a few things along the way. As always, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below what you think. Thanks ever so much for watching guys, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, a thumbs down if you didn't, and I'll see you in the next one.